Welcome to the Dutchess County Natural Resources Inventory website. This website was developed through a partnership between the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development and Cornell Cooperative Extension, Dutchess County. My name is Devin Rigolino, and I serve as the county's Environmental Program Director, and I'm joined by Sean Carroll, Senior GIS and Environmental Educator with Cornell Cooperative.
Hi, everybody.
This website serves as the county's official natural resources inventory, or NRI for short. An NRI is a catalog of the physical and biological characteristics of an area. Examples of natural resources include air, soils, water, wildlife, and habitats, all critical components of the natural world that our local communities depend upon. NRIs can help guide the development of policies and plans, and can also help identify areas for natural resource conservation and management. While NRIs are useful educational tools for everyone, they are particularly important for planning boards, conservation advisory councils, local conservation groups, and county and local planning staff. This website is the third iteration of the county's natural resources inventory. The very first countywide NRI document was prepared in 1985 by the Dutchess County Planning Department, the County Environmental Management Council, or EMC, and Cornell Cooperative Extension, Dutchess County. A revised version of that original document was prepared in 2010, again through a collaboration between the EMC, Planning Department, and Cornell Cooperative, with additional support from Vassar College and the Cary Institute of Ecosystem Studies. In 2022, the county received funding for updating the 2010 NRI into a website platform from the New York State Environmental Protection Fund through the Hudson River Estuary program of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Work developing this new website, along with an accompanying online environmental mapper, began in early 2023 and continued through early 2024. In updating the county's NRI, three main goals were identified. First, the county wanted to review the entire 2010 document and, where applicable, update all data, images, figures, and tables to incorporate new information that's been collected since the last inventory was posted. The second goal was to do a deeper dive on the topic of climate change. The third major goal for the project was to increase the overall accessibility of the county NRI by building out web pages and an interactive mapping application rather than maintaining a PDF document with static maps. In addition to the core planning team, a steering committee also advised on project development and included representatives from the Cary Institute of Ecosystem Studies, the Dutchess County EMC, the Dutchess County Soil and Water Conservation District, Dutchess Land Conservancy, Hudsonia, Vassar College, and the DEC's Hudson River Estuary program. The Dutchess County Office of Central and Information Services also was integral to this project, providing web development services for both the NRI website and environmental mapper. With this introduction done, I'd like to now dive into the website. The easiest way to access the NRI homepage is by visiting nri.dutchessenvironment.com. The NRI homepage can also be accessed from the county website via the Department of Planning and Development's environmental webpage. Let's explore the homepage. At the very top of the homepage and every page on the NRI website, you will find a search bar. This search bar helps users quickly navigate within the page to find specific terms of interest. As an example, let's try searching for the term ecosystem. You will see that the page automatically jumps down and highlights everywhere that term can be found. This search feature is particularly useful if you're trying to find a specific term or topic within a broader theme. For example, information about wetlands within the larger water resources page. Beneath the search bar, every page on the NRI website will have this green bar across the top with this tan-colored ribbon just below. On the green bar, you will find the NRI website logo, which if selected from any other page, will bring users back to the home page, and you will also see 4 green icon buttons to the right. The first button will bring users to the county's Department of Planning and Development website, which hosts many other resources and updates about a variety of county projects and programs. Moving to the right is a Contact Us button, which brings visitors to a page where questions and comments can be submitted that will go directly to county staff. Next is a button that brings visitors directly to the county's environment website, which contains information about additional environmental and sustainability projects that the county oversees. And last on this green ribbon is a direct link to the new environmental mapper, and we'll spend time with that in just a bit, diving into that application. Along the tan ribbon, you will find links to the main 7 pages of the NRI website. Home takes us back to the main landing page, and the rest of these links bring visitors to the various subtopics of the NRI. These are a general county overview page, a page on the county's physical resources, water resources, habitats and biodiversity, climate, including climate change, and humans and the environment. We will take a peek at each of these soon, but for now, let's do a quick review of how each page functions. Scrolling down, each page of the NRI will have 3 main sections. First, you'll find an introductory section. Just below, content is sectioned into topics. By clicking on a topic, the content is expanded. Clicking again will minimize the section. This feature is helpful when scrolling through some of the denser pages, like water resources, when you might want to just quickly navigate to a particular topic without needing to scroll and scroll through many others. To the left of the main content is the third section of the page, which is a menu of jump links. This menu offers a list of all of the subtopics found on the page, and when a particular topic is selected, the page will jump down to that area with that content expanded. The last general feature that can be found throughout the website that we need to cover is glossary terms. Through each page, you will notice certain words that are bolded with a dotted underline. These are terms defined in the NRI's glossary. In addition to seeing these terms listed out under the glossary section at the very bottom of the page, you will also find that the definition of each term shows up directly within the window when hovered over with the mouse cursor. The main homepage is a great place to start for first-time visitors. Here you will find a general overview of what natural resources are, why inventories are important, and how to use this NRI website, and you'll also be introduced to some important key concepts. You will also find an acknowledgements section and additional resources. The additional resources section on the homepage includes links to local municipal NRIs, as well as the prior versions of the county's NRI documents.
After familiarizing yourself with the homepage and some of the key concepts of a natural resources inventory, you'll find next in the top menu the NRI's County Overview section. This section provides a great overview of Dutchess County, its geography, constituent municipalities, and some basic information about the county itself. You'll find some place setting maps detailing the county's geographic context, as well as a map showing the 2 major watersheds found within Dutchess County. Each major section of the NRI homepage also includes a carousel of relevant photos. Expandable sections expound upon the county's population centers and trends, as well as a brief history of the area spanning pre-colonial to the present day. A compilation of other links pertaining to the history of Dutchess County can also be found in the Additional Resources drop-down section. Next in the menu, you will find the Physical Resources section of the NRI. The introductory portion of this section provides an overview of the importance of topography and geology as it influences the soils, water resources, and ecology of Dutchess County. A brief discussion of the rock cycle and glaciation provides further insight into the geologic processes that have helped shape the county and its natural history. Below this, expandable sections cover a wealth of detail pertaining to Dutchess County's geological history, topography and elevation, bedrock and superficial geology, soils, and mineral resources. Aside from references in a section glossary, there is also a drop-down section highlighting a number of implications for decision-making with regards to physical resources, such as steep slopes, agricultural soils, erosion, and more. Following the physical resources section is the NRI section on water resources. Here, the introduction discusses water's essential role in our biological and social ecosystems and provides an overview of concepts such as the water cycle, aquifers, general water quality and quantity, and the importance of water for human activities. The expandable sections of this page cover in great detail topics such as groundwater and aquifers, watersheds, streams and water bodies, floodplains, wetlands, water quality, and more. Sections on challenges and threats to the county's water resources, as well as conservation implications and recommendations, can also be found here. Likely the largest and most in-depth section of the NRI is the Habitat and Biodiversity section, which comes next. Here, the concepts of biodiversity, habitat, ecosystems, and ecosystem services are given an introductory context before being discussed in further detail in their respective sections further down the page. Expandable sections below provide a vast wealth of information pertaining to the value of biodiversity, an overview of biodiversity in Dutchess County, benefits of habitat conservation, significant biodiversity areas, wetland and coastal habitat, forests, grasslands and shrublands, significant natural communities, conservation priorities, and finally, threats to biodiversity. Lastly, one can find further information in the additional resources section. One of the major priorities of this NRI update was to expound upon the topic of climate change from the County NRI's 2010 iteration. This section, which is divided into two parts, focuses not only on the specific climate of Dutchess County, but also goes in depth into the discussion of climate change, forecasts and predictions, and the impacts of a changing climate on the county, its residents, and environment. In the climate half of this section, an introduction discusses what climate is and provides a brief overview of current climatic conditions for Dutchess County. Expandable sections below go into further detail on the county's current temperature, precipitation, barometric pressure, wind, and severe weather patterns. The second half of this section is dedicated to climate change. Here, the concept of climate change is introduced, as well as a brief discussion of changing atmospheric conditions, temperature, and other factors as a result of increased greenhouse gas emissions. Expandable sections below go more into detail on the impacts of these changes on the county's seasons, precipitation patterns, sea level rise, and local decision-making implications. The additional resources section links to some great information on Dutchess County's Climate Smart Communities Task Force, the County Transportation Council's Resilient Ways Forward study, as well as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC. The last main section of the menu is entitled Humans and the Environment. Oftentimes, humans are left out of discussion of the environment, biodiversity, and natural resources. However, the role humans play on our environment continue to be of greatest importance as we make plans and devise ways to lessen our negative impacts on the environment and fit more seamlessly into the natural world around us. In this section, expandable menus highlight in great detail a number of topics pertaining to the role of humans in our local environment. These topics include land use and land cover, agriculture, protected land and open space, recreation, historic and scenic resources, and environmental pollutants in public health. As with all of the preceding sections, resources, references, and a glossary of terms follows. Now that we've covered the NRI website, let's move on to the environmental mapper.
Perhaps the greatest achievement of this natural resources inventory update was the development of a unique environmental mapper application that hosts and displays digital maps and GIS data for the entirety of Dutchess County and is an easy-to-use one-stop shop tool for viewing a host of natural resource data in a single location. While each section links to this mapper individually with thematic layers presets displayed, the easiest way to get into the mapper is to click the light green environmental mapper icon in the top right corner of the main menu on the NRI website. Clicking this link opens the environmental mapper application with basic layers such as municipal and parcel boundaries, roads, and a base map. This base map can be exchanged with a satellite imagery layer or terrain layers, as well as by toggling between the different base map icons in the menu found on the top right corner of the map window. In that same menu, you will also see a search bar in which you can search for specific addresses or use keywords for location names to navigate quickly to your area of interest. Also in that menu, You can manually zoom in and out with the plus and minus signs, or use the scroll function on your mouse. You can zoom out to the extent of the entire county, or use the measure tool to measure linear distances or areas. The fixed menu to the right of the map window is where you will find all of the data layers arranged by theme, correlating to the sections of the NRI homepage that can be toggled on and off. At the top of the menu, you will first see a Find a Layer search bar. This can help you quickly navigate to a data layer of interest, for example, wetlands. Below that search bar is a drop-down menu with a number of thematic map presets, such as water resources or habitat. For example, selecting the water resources preset turns on the streams, water bodies, Hudson River, and riparian buffers layers automatically. Below the preset menu, you will see two buttons: Show Active Layers, which will flash whatever layers are turned on in the map in the layer menu, so you can easily locate any layers that are being drawn. There's also a Deselect All Layers button, which will turn off any layers you have on and take you back to just a simple base map. These can be useful when you have a lot turned on and when you want to start over with a new task. Lastly, below these two buttons, you will find the most important component of the mapper, the data layers themselves. As we mentioned, all of the individual map layers are nested below the green thematic layer groupings. Soils can be found under physical resources, wetlands under water resources, forests under habitats and biodiversity, and so forth. As a reminder, if you can't find the layer you're looking for by expanding these menus, try the Find a Layer search function above. Please keep in mind that data will continue to be added to this mapping application, and there's a data layer. If there is a data layer that you don't see but you believe would be useful to be added to the mapper, please contact the county to let them know. Let's take a quick look at all of the data layers this mapper currently has to offer. Expanding the county overview menu, you will see two buttons and a list of data layers. The Learn More button will link you back to the county overview section of the main NRI website. This is the same case for any of the menu groupings below. The Deselect All button in this group will not turn off all of the layers, but only those in this grouping. Below these buttons, you will see some general layers, such as municipal boundaries, parcel boundaries, and population density. Layers that are turned off will show an unchecked box, and the layer label will be a light gray or slightly transparent color. To turn a layer on, simply click the checkbox. You will see the box fill in with a check and the layer label darken. Then the layer will begin to draw on the map. Some layers, such as parcel boundaries, will show an icon to the right that symbolizes that the layer is scale dependent. What this means is that the layer is only drawn on the map at certain scales or zoom points. This is done either to prevent unnecessary crowding on the map when it's zoomed far out, or to protect privacy or location sensitivity on a particular layer when zoomed far in. In other words, to obscure exact locations of sensitive data. In the case of parcel boundaries, if you hover over this icon, you will see a pop-up message saying this layer is only able to be displayed at a scale of 1 to 64,000 or closer. Click here to zoom to the correct scale. Clicking that green text hyperlink will zoom you into the map far enough to begin seeing the parcels layer. At the very right-hand side of the layer item, you will also see an eye or information icon. Hovering your mouse over this provides the data source as well as link to another website for more information. Below these three layers in the county overview section, you will also see a subgroup called transportation assets. Here you will find roads, which are turned on automatically in the base map, bridges, culverts, rail stations, and passenger rail lines. In order to get more information on a particular feature in the map, many of the data layers have pop-up windows associated with them. For example, with the parcel boundaries layer turned on, the user can then click on a particular parcel, which will highlight the parcel of interest, and display a pop-up with more information. In the case of the parcel boundaries layer, the pop-up window displays the parcel number, the lot size in acres, the parcel's land use code and description, and the municipality in which it is located. If multiple layers are turned on and you click on a layer for more information, You can toggle between the two layers in the pop-up window using the left and right arrows at the bottom of the window, or at the top of the window, depending on its location within your screen. You will see 1 out of 2, or 2 out of 2, or maybe 1 out of 3 or 6, showing which layer you are on. Some layers, such as municipal boundaries or others in different groupings in the menu, may not have pop-up windows at all. The next thematic layer group is for physical resources. As a note, you can collapse or expand these groupings to keep the menu more organized. Be aware that opening one grouping does not automatically close another, so the layer menu may get large and require you to scroll down to find what you need. Again, there are buttons to link back to this section on the main NRI website and to deselect any physical resource layers turned on. Layers under the physical resources menu currently include elevation, contours, steep slopes, hydrologic soil groups, as well as the overall soils layer from the USDA Web Soil Survey, and finally, surface geology and bedrock geology. As a reminder, many of these layers, such as soils and geologies, have pop-ups with more information. After turning on a layer, try clicking on an area of interest in the map to activate the pop-up and get more information. The pop-up window for the soils layer, as an example, shows the soil type label, name, kind, and agricultural type. Next is the water resources layer group. Here you will see layers in subgroupings of aquifers and watersheds, streams and water bodies, and wetlands. Layers under the first subgroup include aquifers, showing the county's 3 aquifer protection zones, drainage basins, which are large-scale watershed areas, and watersheds, which are smaller catchment areas. Under streams and water bodies are map layers for dams, streams, priority streams, which shows potential impairment of streams of interest, water bodies, the Hudson River, and the riparian buffers data layer. Lastly, under wetlands, one can find Federal National Wetlands Inventory, or NWI wetlands, which have no regulatory implications, New York State DEC wetlands, which do carry regulatory implications, Hudson River Estuary tidal wetlands, which can be seen along the Hudson River coastline in areas like Tivoli Bays, or the FEMA 100 and 500-year floodplains. Below water resources, you will find the Habitats and Biodiversity layer group. Layers here include the New York State Department of State's Significant Coastal Fish and Wildlife Habitats layer. You'll also find core forests and a forest condition index layer, which ranks forest patches based on indices that include metrics relating to fragmentation, ecological values, stressors, and ecosystem services. You'll also find a layer showing contiguous habitat, and you'll see Hudsonia's habitat map layers added in for municipalities in which the mapping has been done. Also found within this section are the layers natural features, Audubon's important bird areas, significant biodiversity areas, and the natural heritage communities layer. Moving on, under the climate and climate change layer group, you will find data layers including average summer temperature, a layer showing Hudson River sea level rise predictions, including 2050 and 2080 predictions. You'll also find the Nature Conservancy's Climate Resilience Score Map, which identifies areas that are projected to show strong resilience to climate change or act as climate corridors for the movement of climate-sensitive species. Lastly, we have the Humans and the Environment layer group. There are a whole host of map layers related to land use and land cover here, agriculture, protected lands and open space, cultural and recreational resources, and pollutants and public health. Some key data layers here include critical environmental areas, or CEAs, zoning, agricultural district parcels, publicly accessible protected areas like parks and trails, environmental remediation sites, and many others. It is our hope that this mapping tool will serve as an invaluable resource for you all in your roles as municipal officials, volunteers, and interested residents of Dutchess County. This NRI will continue to evolve, adapt, and be added to as new data and information is made available. We also encourage municipalities or interested organizations who are using this tool to provide feedback on how it can be improved going forward. This may include feedback on layers or data sets that are missing and could be added, background information that is lacking that could help answer questions pertaining to a specific data layer, or ideas for functionality in the application that might make your work easier. We're ready and anxious to receive that feedback to help make this tool as useful and easy to use as possible. The easiest way to give us feedback is to navigate to the link in the upper right-hand corner of the map where it says Contact Us.
We hope this tutorial has been useful and that you find the NRI and Environmental Mapper beneficial to your work. Before we sign off, we'd like to take this opportunity to extend a big thank you to our funder and all of the partners that were involved in the planning and execution of this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.